I don't know if you've ever seen the Raccoons, but it caused a lot of young people in the 1980s to develop paraphilias for anthropomorphic animals. My main memory of it is that I threw up bits of a steak sandwich into my mother's bathroom's kitchen sink because there was an image that flashed on screen that freaked me out and caused me to swallow my meat without biting. Well, guess what? It took me years, decades even, but I found the moment again. And thankfully, I had nothing in my mouth this time but halitosis of the breath. There's that little new wave jingle, and then the episode begins with the raccoon jumping out of his window. I, I guess as part of First Lady Nancy Reagan's Just Say No to Drugs campaign, but sure looks kind of odd as an adult, looking at the scene out of context. If I didn't know any better, I'd assume that Raccoon Man skinned a human being alive and stole his football Letterman shirt. But that's just kind of silly. Perhaps psychotic. I don't want you to think I'm making this up. I think I'm just deflecting because what I actually saw was just so disturbing. It's just that the main character's heavy-set eyes swinging around on a rope with a fencing sword. It's easy to ignore when you're just a child and think it's just a guy acting cool and enjoying life, but there's something far more sinister at work here. The main raccoon's dog is licking his face for far too long. That was another clue. Cyril Sneer, series antagonist, is smoking a cigar and playing Atari. His nose looks like a crooked penis. That's typical for this program. The fireworks that are supposed to light up and display the show's title, The Raccoons, instead reads, Your Rat Tunes. But this show is about raccoons and not rats, so I figured it was the shitty animation or a logic error. The raccoons are fishing in a lake filled with lemonade. One of them zips up his pants and comments that the other raccoon's vagina smells. As I was merely watching a cartoon and incapable of smelling it, I wasn't one to judge. They're giggling about it and stick an air freshener in the dog man's vagina and giggle about some plan to axe murder Cyril Sneer while he's passed out from a drug overdose. There's a trio of pigs observing them with binoculars and moaning while oinking suggestively. This was unsettling. I didn't know they wanted to continue watching this. They hop on their motorbikes to alert Cyril of his timely demise. The scene with the raccoon man playing the military bugle plays out, but his nose now looks like a rat muzzle and he steps on his tail, which is the cause of him seeing stars and falling over. I will say that the pink girlfriend raccoon skirt is way too short, and there seems to be something in the crotch area, but I couldn't really make it out due to grainy animation. I assumed it was related to the plot to murder Cyril Sneer. The hot air balloon full of gunpowder is displayed, and the mentally challenged rat's girlfriend celebrates its killing capability, which is still in the release cartoon that they aired on TV for some reason. As if that isn't already disturbing enough. Why were they celebrating acts of terror in a children's cartoon? So the next part is where things get really curious. It's a scene you may have seen with Cyril Sneer being told by the three little pigs that he's about to get freaking slaughtered like a Thanksgiving turkey by raccoon rats. And just like in the version of the episode that you've seen, he claims he has a secret service and that he's about to unleash it. His secretary, apparently that's actually supposed to be his son, looks suspiciously like Marilyn Monroe. And he speaks in a thick Bostonian accent. If you pause on just the right frame, Cyril Sneer's head is temporarily exploded like a smashed watermelon with the seeds freeze-framed in midair. Maybe they mixed up the scene with an ad for Produce Junction or some other fruit stand grocery store of the time, but perhaps not. The scene in which Cyril trains the bears in Halloween detective costumes to murder the raccoons and Dogman plays out. Although when he points to the projector with a stick, there's a sound of whistling. Like when a disgusting pervert cat calls an attractive lady on her way to the grocery store. It's repeated when the blue dog goes to piss on the tree man's leg. But Cyril doesn't kick his dog, and instead it goes away. He walks away and makes it rain lemonade all over the bear by allowing his dog to piss all over the bear. Ugh. Now you know what happened to the river, Cyril exclaims. Oh, that solves one mystery. But that wasn't the important one in this episode. The part in which Cyril holds the medal is replaced with hypnotic swirling pocket watch. Nothing is said, no orders to commit crimes under the spell of hypnosis or anything. The scene of the weekly disguised villains, who are actually the good guys given they're trying to stop an act of terror, trying and failing to gather intel on the Raccoons while new wave music plays over them, is shown, but with a 1 second still image of Neil Armstrong playing the American flag on the moon while holding an iced glass of Mountain Dew in the other hand is shown. The lack of gravity on the moon would not actually allow this. The bear who gets sprayed by a skunk drowns in the Lemonade River. The lemonade is slightly green this time, similar to Mountain Dew. When Cyril scolds the folly of the bears, the pigs alert him that he better not drive into Dallas in his convertible tomorrow or he's going to get shot right in the face. This is arguably the most unnerving part of the episode. Cyril smiles. He seems to welcome it. He challenges the Raccoons to go ahead and make his day, quote unquote, Clint Eastwood style. I didn't even want to watch the rest of this cartoon episode, but to be honest, I didn't want to watch it to begin with. The bit about Cyril's son plotting to freaking murder him, committing patricide, casual stuff, totally typical normal children's cartoon content, really, plays out. He gets thrown to the dungeon for not doing a better job to his father's displeasure. The phallus-nosed rat sneaks into the mansion to rescue the kids so that he can murder his pops like a normal law-abiding civilian. The dog gets hit in the head with their grappling hook. They blow up the dungeon with dynamite, rescue Marilyn Monroe, flip off the blue dog for no good reason, and got the 3 little pigs with a set of sharpened carving knives, tie together their intestines like sausage stuffed with gunpowder and TNT, toss their corpses into the hot air balloon from earlier, light a match and fuse, and proceed to blow up the entire mansion as dust and stones rain down from the nighttime sky and flames of a tingling yellow and red blaze up into the vivid moonlight, dancing like a gathering of weirdos at a Marilyn Manson concert. I was just about to turn off the video and set it on fire too when it finally happened. My mouth gaped. If you saw the released episode, then you found out that the whole so-called assassination attempt was just a ploy to throw a surprise birthday party for the series' main antagonist, with the explosives actually being for the sake of fireworks. But instead, the image flashed on screen. The image that made me choke on my steak sandwich decades ago. By gosh. By golly, it was not a false memory. It was real. A group of rats and a gaze of raccoons were fornicating on top of JFK's coffin casket, floating in the middle of a yellow-green ocean while FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover was dressed in drag and pointing a Carcano Model 38 rifle at JFK's head. Suddenly, the casket was creaked open, revealing JFK with a pale zombie green-skinned complexion, winking and giving the thumbs up while Marilyn Monroe smirks and nibbles on her index finger. Did you know that this show was developed by a zookeeper named Kevin Gillis, who went on to produce interactive ebooks, including ones on reproduction habits of forest animals, patricide, health risks associated with the consumption of soft drinks, and the JFK assassination? That's why you conduct background checks on people before hiring them to develop children's shows.